Hey everybody, it's Danny Griffin with another Monday Mojo brought to you by freethinkingtools.com. This week's quote, "He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else." Benjamin Franklin, 1706 to 1790, one of America's founding fathers who started the first public lending library. So what is it about the almighty excuse? No matter what happens in life, we all seem to be able to come up with an excuse in a heartbeat. Of course, it starts very young as a child. Anytime you did something wrong, that good old survival mechanism was at our beck and call. It starts with the simple, "I didn't do it. It's not my fault," and evolved into some school classics like, "The dog ate my homework." As the father of five, I've heard some real winners, the best of which recently was how after a full day of my kids Facebooking, instant chatting, and other Google-style distractions, the internet suddenly cut out just in time for an important homework assignment. Sounds innocent enough, but then my wife was under pressure to join in the conspiracy by writing a note that Al Gore had shut down his internet at a critical point in my daughter's high school development. You see, it gets even worse. Once we lock onto an excuse, the law of consistency turns on. This law of human behavior says that we would much rather be consistent than right, even if that means throwing the truth right down the sewer. Think about the obvious cases. Have you ever known somebody that was a pathological liar? Their whole life is like a crazy treadmill of excuse after excuse. It's a crazy concept to even fathom all the work it takes to go from one excuse to the next. More harshly put, it's all just a bunch of lies that we tell ourselves before we even spring them on somebody else. But what about the good excuse, the real ones? As a real estate coach for many years now and thousands of hours of one-on-one conversations, I've heard them all. From the completely lame to the very tragic. What would you say to somebody who can't go to work because they're taking care of a sick or elderly loved one? How about if the person himself is struggling through a severe depression or even severe illness? Well, of course, the first thing to do is properly empathize and be there for him. However, when that becomes the main focus of the discussion, the red flag should pop up. At the risk of sounding like a complete ogre, what about the rest of life? Does it go on? How are they surviving? Do you have to make a living in spite of your suffering? Well, as of this writing, I've just returned from setting up my kids' classroom, which is in a shared space and needs to be reorganized every week. No big deal, right? Well, what if I told you that unbeknownst to the families, the principal and his wife were doing it themselves every week? So what's wrong with that? Sounds like a couple of dedicated teachers doing an hour's worth of physical work. Well, it's not so easy when you consider that they were both suffering from cancer and receiving treatment at the same time without a complaint or even a plea for help. Live an excuse-free life. It's the only way to become your best. Hey, this is Danny Griffin with another Monday Mojo brought to you by freethinkingtools.com, reminding you to think and thrive. We'll see you next time.